Hello, welcome. I hope you're having a very good day today, wherever you are. So today we're going to be reading some Am I the Devil. If you aren't familiar with Am I the Devil, basically it's like Am I the Butthole, and it is essentially posts from Am I the Butthole, but where the person who has shared it has decided that this person is most definitely the bumhole. So they're always the bad guy most of the time. I mean, sometimes the person posting it gets it wrong, but that is for us to judge and decide now, isn't it? So if that sounds like something that you would be into, stick around, have a listen, get comfortable. I have my bickies. I had to actually sneak the biscuits because I never get a look in. My kids always steal them all. So I have now got the 3 broken biscuits at the end of the packet, but it will do. So yeah, stick around and enjoy. Am I the butthole for getting my cousin kicked out of a family gathering and not letting her come to any family events until next year? A little family drama to start off the day. Who doesn't love it? In August, my cousin, 25F, had her wedding. My sister-in-law, 27F, is a professional chef, and my cousin wanted her to have her cook a 3-course meal and a dessert for her wedding. And my sister-in-law accepted the offer and made some damn good food for her wedding. But my sister-in-law expected payment from my cousin, and my cousin complained about how we were family and it should be free. They got into an argument about it, and my family was split. Yeah, no, you shouldn't ever just expect things for free, family or not, at all. It's not a good look. Some agreed with my cousin, saying that families should give each other things for free. Some agreed with my sister-in-law, saying that my cousin still need to pay. Some just wanted peace. I honestly agree with my sister-in-law. Eventually, someone came up with a compromise. My sister-in-law would give my cousin a discount, and both sides seemed to agree on that compromise. That's, fair. My cousin paid my sister-in-law, but was still pretty angry. My cousin called me and my sister-in-law a couple hours after the wedding. She said it was all our fault, she couldn't go on a honeymoon, and that we planned this because we hated her. What? She said some not so nice words, and I told her to apologise, but she refused. I didn't know what to do, but then I came up with a great idea. Every year my family goes to my aunt's house for Halloween, and I could ask her to apologise there. Halloween night, most of my family was in the kitchen talking. Somehow we ended up talking up the incident with my cousin's wedding. When my cousin went to the bathroom, I told everyone what she said to me and my sister-in-law. My cousin came back and got some angry glares. Everyone was so mad at her and kicked her out and told her she couldn't come to any more family gatherings until next year. Am I the butthole? I would say the way that you were probably the butthole in this situation is the fact that you seem like an absolute shit stirrer, to be honest. Leave them to sort it out between themselves. Your cousin's being an ass because that would have cost a lot of money to make all the food for the wedding, I would assume. But still, it's not your place to be demanding apologies, telling people what they should think. I imagine you probably embellished some stuff as well, to be quite fair, because normally, families are very forgiving. So yeah, I would say your cousin's an ass, absolutely, but I would probably hazard to guess that you're no better either. It seems like you're getting quite the kick out of stirring the pot, as it were. But yeah, your cousin is an ass too, but you're a bit of an ass as well. Next up, am I the butthole for telling my fiancé I don't want his brother over? I, F24, and my fiancé, 27M, have been together for 4 years this month. He moved to live with me 3 years ago. My fiancé doesn't get to see his family much, due to living an hour from them, and a lot of them tend to not be too good to be around for his mental health. But he hasn't been able to see his brother a lot over the last 6 years or so. He's only seen him a handful of times. Anyways, fast forward to today. I worked today, picked him up after work, and we went home. He is having a couple drinks while on his game, and out of nowhere he says, I think my brother's going to be coming over this weekend and maybe have a couple drinks. And I responded with, oh, alright. He said, what? I replied with, oh, nothing. I just wish you would ask me if I minded if he came over so I wouldn't feel like I wasn't being considered. And if you would have just asked me, I would have said yes. But I don't know how to feel about a 19-year-old drinking in our apartment. Must be American. I hate to rub it in, but we can drink here when we're 18. He then goes on a rant about how he pays half of the bills and how it's our apartment, and if he wants to see his brother and drink with him, he's allowed, especially because he doesn't get to see him ever. Then I pop off with, well, then I don't want him here at all. Oh, you sound like a child. And all I could say back was, I also pay half the bills, and this is also my apartment, and I would still like to feel considered in decisions on who is and isn't going to be at our apartment. I should get a choice and or opinion on the matter. Anyways, the argument went on, and now we're just sitting here not saying anything to each other, and I just can't happen to think, am I the butthole? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're being controlling. Do you want to know how I know? You said, where is it now? You said, I replied with, oh, nothing. I just wish you would have asked me if I minded if he came over so I wouldn't feel like I wasn't being considered. And if you would have just asked, I would have said yes. But now I don't know how to feel. So basically, because he made a decision and you weren't allowed the ultimate say in it, you're going, well, I would have said yeah, but now you can get stood on. That is a very, very childish, mind you, controlling relationship tactic. I can't stand people like that. You are the butthole. It's his brother. He's coming over. I doubt they're going to be drinking like hard spirits and getting absolutely trashed. They're probably going to have like a couple beers and play on games. Like, grow up. Let your boyfriend have his brother over, for God's sake. In fact, you don't get a choice. I really hope your brother just went, well, sit and swivel, love. I'm having him over anyway. Because it's his brother. It's not like he's being an arse and being like, yeah, I'm having a party overnight. Then maybe you could be like, oh, I wish you considered me. But he's just having his brother that he barely ever sees. You've said it yourself. He barely ever sees him. So it's not like it's a constant thing either. Go and calm down and stop being an ass. The reposter has titled this, wow, focus on me. Am I the butthole for throwing away my girlfriend's art supplies because she was spending too much time on her hobby? Oh, here we go. So I, 21M, have been dating my girlfriend, 20F, for about a year now. She's an art major and honestly, she's talented. But lately, her art has been taking up a lot of her time. She's always painting, sketching, or doing some kind of project, even outside her classes. It's gotten to the point where she'll spend hours on her stuff and barely pay attention to me or make time to hang out. I tried talking to her a few times, telling her that I felt like she was spending more time with her art than with me, but she'd just brush it off, saying it's important for her career and that her art makes her happy. She told me it's her way of unwinding, and sometimes she's even working on stuff she hopes to sell in the future. Anyway, after weeks of her ignoring me for her projects, I got fed up. Last weekend, while she was at work, I went over to her place and threw out most of her art supplies. Ooh, you can't be doing that. Paints, sketch pads, brushes, all of it. I thought maybe if it was gone, she'd finally realise that she was putting too much energy into this hobby and would spend more time with me. No, I think she's going to finally realise that she really needs to bin you off, my love. When she came home and realised what I'd done, she freaked out. She was crying and yelling, asking why I'd do something so cruel. She even accused me of being controlling and selfish. Yep. I told her that I did it because I care about our relationship and I felt like she was letting her art come between us. Now she won't talk to me and some of her friends are saying I'm a toxic boyfriend. Bang on. I honestly thought she'd see that I did it because I want us to spend more quality time together. But now I'm questioning if maybe I went a bit too far. Am I the butthole? Yeah, you are the butthole. You are absolutely the butthole. And you probably are a bit of a controlling boyfriend if you're doing stuff like that. Like, talk to them. If you can't come to some reconciliation, maybe you're just not both matched. Maybe you're someone who needs to spend a lot of time with your partner and maybe she's someone who doesn't. But it even says there that she's working on things hoping to sell in the future. She's working passionately for her future on something that she enjoys. Be happy for her. My goodness. Yeah, definitely the butthole. If anything, just because I'm pretty sure that's illegal to just essentially go into someone's place without them knowing and taking all of their stuff and throwing it away. Surely that is classed as theft. So if I was her, I would be reporting you, to be quite honest. I wouldn't even feel bad about it. Am I the butthole? Friend F forcing me F to pay $900 for an urgent care visit during Halloween weekend. Hi, using a throwaway because I don't want people I know seeing this. Good idea considering you ended up in Am I the Devil? Last weekend, October 25th, I drove to another city to celebrate Halloween with a friend and her university friends. We'd planned a group costume and I spent $100 on mine because I'd never done a group costume and wanted it to be perfect. Before our party, we walked to a show and I pre-gamed with 2 shots of Tito's. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a spirit. Later, back at her place, I took another 4 shots, feeling fine. At the party, I had 2 more shots, smoked a cigarette, and was fine until we got back to her apartment, where I felt horribly nauseous and dizzy. I'd pre-gamed with 7 to 8 shots before without issue, so I was confused. I tried to sleep it off, but it got worse, so my friend insisted on taking me to urgent care. I told her I couldn't afford it, but she reassured me it was okay and that she'd cover it with her trust fund. Good friend. Do you know what? I'm going to Google what percentage Tito's is because I have no idea what it is. 40%! 40%! Oh my goodness! No wonder you were absolutely on your backside. That seems like really bad idea. My God! We got there and it ended up costing $1,800, which she paid. The next day, her sister texted her angrily about spending that much money on me, demanding I pay her back. My friend reassured me it was okay, that her sister was overreacting and that I didn't need to worry. Still, I felt awful. The following night, I felt better and decided to go out with them again, figuring the night before was a fluke. I had 3 shots of deep eddies and a few cups of jungle juice, but when we got back, the same symptoms hit me hard. Basically, you can't handle your drink. Stop drinking. My goodness. What a rookie mistake. I was spinning, nauseous and shaking. I ended up passing out on her couch. The next morning, she told me she didn't want to go out with me anymore if I couldn't handle my alcohol. Absolutely. I was embarrassed and apologized, explaining I didn't know what was going on with my body. I offered to pay her back for my share of the parking and the Uber, which totaled about $90, and she agreed. Later, I texted her to apologize again and suggested maybe we don't hang out until I figure out what's going on with me. Maybe you don't drink until you figure out what's going on with you. You can hang out without drinking, you know. Then, on October 31st, she texts asking if I could pay her back at least half of the urgent care bill, $900. I was shocked because she'd reassured me it was covered, that her dad, who set up the trust fund, would understand, and that her sister was overreacting. But now she said she needed the money for her cat's vet bills and savings for grad school. I was really confused, since she'd previously said she'd pay for her cat's vet bills separately from her trust fund, and that even if I did pay her back, it couldn't go back into the trust fund. I was overwhelmed and had a panic attack. I told her I'd try to pay $30 a month, which would take 2.5 years. My goodness. She accepted, saying she needed the money because her dad found out and got on at her about it. Now I'm confused and frustrated because I thought this was covered, and I don't know if she lied to me or didn't tell me the truth. I had another panic attack and left our group chat, and she hasn't reached out since. Am I the butthole for feeling upset and confused about her asking for the $900 after she'd initially reassured me? Yes, you are, because you shouldn't have been drinking that much in the first place. 40% volume is stupid idea to be shotting, quite frankly. Absolutely stupid. And then to go ahead and do it again and go out drinking again a few days later. What was it? Let me just have a quick skim through. The following night. The following night you went out again. You still got half of that booze from the night before in your body, I would presume. So yeah, of course it's your fault, because you don't know how to control your booze. You don't know how to control yourself. And if you can't handle alcohol, and if you have one episode of ending up at urgent care because of drink, going out the next night is such a bad idea. Such a silly idea. Now, we've all done silly things when it comes to booze, I'm sure. But still, of course, it's your responsibility. You're the one who drank a ton. First night, you could maybe give you your graces. Second night, you were literally just out of urgent care for not being able to handle your booze and then went smashing a load more. So yeah, definitely your fault for the second night, for sure. Am I the butthole for asking my wife to stop reading fanfiction based on Pedro Pascal characters? What a title. I'm in a bind, and the long story short of this is that I, 32M, found out my wife, 28F, has been reading explicit fanfiction centered around characters played by the actor Pedro Pascal. I wanted to stop, and she thinks I'm being unfair. None of these stories are about the real person himself, but they are all about the very specific characters he plays on television shows like Narcos and The Last of Us. I initially found out she'd been reading these stories when I was using her laptop a week back. She was attempting to hide anything, and when I asked her about it, she was upfront and open with me. I figured this is just an outlet, and I chalked it up to these stories being like romance novels. I have no problem with that at all. We have a 13-month-old. Her pregnancy was difficult at times and she has had a hard time postpartum, much of which I know I don't fully understand, but I'm committed to supporting her through. After discovering how often she has been reading these stories and then seeing some of the kinks and themes in them, I felt a little more uncomfortable. Oh, goodness. It's not just corny romance novel stuff, and I probably misunderstood it to be so. We've struggled some with intimacy since her pregnancy, and these stories are almost always sexually explicit, which include kinks she's never mentioned wanting to explore in the 8 years we have been together. These stories are sexual in a way she is definitely otherwise is averse to right now, so I have a hard time reconciling why she's reading this stuff. Worth mentioning as well, maybe, that we are from Texas. I do feel strangely about the fact some of these fictional characters are men from Texas. See, even you know how daft you're being here. I have a hard time equating this to watching porn, which is something that has come up when we talk about this, because it's a hyper-specific and involves the same actor repeatedly. I do think she'd feel weird if I watched corn with a single actress on repeat to that extent where I only ever watched their corn. I've expressed all of this to her. Our conversations are a wreck though, in a way they usually are not. It basically ends with me pissed and not understanding why she gives so much of a poo about being able to read this stuff, and her saying I'm making her out to be a bad mum for spending free time reading this or making her feel like a freak. I want to talk this through without her feeling attacked, but I also don't know if I see an outcome where I feel comfortable if she continues to read these stories. I think I'd probably feel different if they weren't about characters played by a real person, who I can safely say I look nothing alike. Ha ha. Am I the butthole for feeling weird about all this? Yeah, a little bit. It's so harmless. Let her have her stories. My life. She's not hurting anyone. It's usually just because it's not the person and their looks, it's the story. She's reading it. She's not watching anything. She's reading it. So I bet you any money, she's making up lots of different people in her mind. It's just kind of a base person to go off for her imagination. Let her have that. Because I guarantee you tell her to stop reading those books, she stops reading those books. One, she's going to resent you because her little outlet to feel, good is gone. Two, she's going to feel controlled. And three, she's just going to make it up in her head anyway. Believe it or not, us ladies have imaginations. Shocker, I know. And I think that'll be the last one for today, so we'll probably leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed, and if you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate that very, very much. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave your opinions on the stories we have gone through today. I would really appreciate that, and that helps me out a bunch. And if you subscribe, you can come back and listen to more, because I'm uploading every single day. So yeah, if you want to, I would appreciate it quite a lot. Anyway, I hope you have a good day for whatever you're doing today, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Goodbye.